You're watching the Fox 25 Primetime News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Chelsea Washington, and we begin tonight with our severe weather outlook. And Mother's Day is not looking good as far as outdoor plans. Fox 25 meteorologist Kyle Roberts has tonight's first forecast.
Hey there, everyone. Yeah, it really depends on when you're going to have those outdoor plans. I think the majority of tomorrow you're going to be okay. It's more so by the afternoon and evening hours that we're watching for chances at severe storms. That's why we have a moderate risk. That's a 4 on a scale of 5 for tomorrow. Not necessarily for everyone. I'll show you the map here in a second. We go down to a slight risk on Monday, but we're not done with severe weather for the rest of the week. Could see some storms out there on Wednesday and then maybe by the end of the week as well. Nothing going on right now. We're going to stay that way for the time being and through the overnight hours. Really concerned about storms until tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoon and evening, that is. Here you can see not a moderate risk for everyone, but areas from Watonga to Enid to Alva are under that moderate risk, an enhanced risk across parts of West Central and including parts of Central Oklahoma, including the Metro. Basically, I think what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon and evening is we're going to get a couple storms, maybe 2 to 3 to 4 storms out somewhere across western Oklahoma. Those will move from west to east during the afternoon and evening hours, and with those storms come any type of threat, severe weather. Hail and wind will be the primary threat, but that tornado threat certainly not zero, and we could see a couple tornadoes tomorrow as well. So this is something to keep our eye on. Not everyone is going to see storms tomorrow afternoon and evening, but it is a good idea to stay weather aware, especially in central and western Oklahoma tomorrow afternoon. Timing for those storms will be about 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock across the western half of the state. We'll say about 6-ish or so for the metro if storms make it into the metro. Remember, there's only going to be a few of them out there. Then across eastern parts of the state, about 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the evening. So for that Mother's Day forecast, there actually could be a little bit of spotty rain out there in the morning, but shouldn't cause any big problems. We're up to about 75 by the lunch hour, 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon. But remember, tomorrow afternoon and the evening is when we're watching for those chances at storms. So the majority of tomorrow, okay. It's just you need to pay attention, especially tomorrow afternoon and evening. So let's talk more about those storm threat for tomorrow, especially when it comes to that hail and tornado threat. Then we'll talk about storm threats for next week as well. All that and more coming up here in a bit.
Thanks, Kyle. Right now would be a great time to download the Fox 25 Storm Watch weather app. You can get access to live radar and weather alerts right on your phone. It is available to download in the Apple and Google Play Store for free. Just search KOKH weather. Well, a deadly day on Oklahoma roads. A 7-vehicle crash on Northeast 23rd. Deputies tell Fox 25 one person is now dead, a police officer injured, and deputies say this man, Mario Cherry, is responsible for it all. Fox 25's Meredith Keller joins us live from OU Medical with how this all started. Meredith?
Well, Chelsea, police tell me that Cherry and 2 of his surviving suspects are here tonight at OU Medical recovering from their injuries. Police say he will be arrested as soon as he is completely healed. Today, our crews talked to a woman who watched this horrifying event unfold right in front of her own business.
She said it was probably the worst thing that she's seen in a long time.
Devin Barlow had just started her shift at Coffee Okie off 23rd and Post when she heard the crash.
We were prepping for a big event here, and we looked out the window and saw that the traffic was backed up, and then we saw one of the motorcycles down.
Deputies tell Fox 25 Mario Cherry's white car collided with its first victim near Westminster, but continued to run. And when he reached Avery Road, things turned deadly.
The driver of the white vehicle, our suspect, overtook the motorcyclist, actually hitting both of them. We understand possibly even running over both of them. Killed one person on the motorcycle. We have one deceased right now. The other 2 people are taken to the hospital.
Deputies say the man still continued to try to escape after that, but rolled his car.
I guess he got out of his car and took off running down 23rd, and we were told that he was armed.
When it came to a stop, he got out of that vehicle and actually got into a scuffle with a Nakoma Park police officer and one of our reserve deputies who happened to just be in the area.
Barler's friend, who watched the whole thing in horror, rushed to try and help the victims clinging to life right outside.
Luckily, she was a nurse, and she was on scene, and she could help a little bit. She helped the fatality victim, and unfortunately, there was nothing really that she could do for her, and she helped one of the other victims before first responders arrived.
Now, as you can imagine, right now, Cherry is facing multiple charges whenever he gets out of here tonight or in the future. He is facing charges of manslaughter, resisting arrest, and numerous traffic-related charges. Of course, we'll keep following this story and bring you the latest. In downtown Oklahoma City tonight, we're live. Meredith Keller, Fox 25 News.
Deputies have not yet released the name of the victim killed today. They say they are also waiting on results to determine if alcohol may have played a factor in the crash. Tonight, OSBI is investigating an officer-involved shooting in McCurtain County. Officials say a sheriff's deputy was shot when he and a game warden approached the home of Charles Brown. Police say Brown saw authorities approaching and got a gun from inside and shot the deputy and fled the scene. Brown later turned himself in to authorities. The deputy was taken to a nearby hospital and is said to be in stable condition. Now to a Fox 25 follow-up to a story we first brought you yesterday at 5. Oklahoma City police say they have located a stolen truck. As you remember, a Metro woman was heartbroken after someone stole the restored 1965 Chevy given to her by her late husband. Police say the truck was found near Northwest 112th and University Avenue today. Police say the steering column was snapped and left in that area after attempts to push the car with another vehicle failed. And in Yukon tonight, the water is back on. Fox 25 learned yesterday of a water main break on Check Hall Road. Crews estimated the repairs to be fixed by midnight, but the water wasn't back on until just after 4:30 this morning. A big story we are following, the massive wildfire in Canada putting parts of the country under state of emergency. Now, it's also forcing thousands of people away from their homes. The blaze already covering nearly 400 square miles across Alberta, Canada, and is expected to double in size by the end of the day. Fox's Brian Yenis is in New York with the very latest.
A massive wildfire igniting a national emergency in Canada. The fire is 390 square miles, 17 times the size of Manhattan, New York City, 6 times the size of Washington, D.C., and it is expected to double in size this weekend. The wildfire engulfing and surrounding the city of Fort McMurray in Alberta, Canada. It's an area with the 3rd largest oil reserves in the world.
No one who is not a trained first responder with a specific job to do should be in Fort McMurray. A mandatory evacuation order still applies everywhere in the city.
There hasn't been significant rain in 2 months in the area, and the forecast calls for no rain and high winds at least until the beginning of the week. It started on Tuesday, and since then, some 80,000 people have evacuated Fort McMurray. But now officials are re-evacuating 25,000 residents who fled to oil industry worker camps north of the city in convoys and by helicopter. High winds have shifted this fire unexpectedly. Firefighters have been fighting all week, some in 48-hour shifts. Help is on the way, though, from other provinces, but sadly, Mother Nature is not cooperating.
It is a dangerous, unpredictable fire, an absolutely vicious fire that is feeding off of an extremely dry boreal forest. And this is a dry condition, a drought situation that has existed for some time.
Some 1,600 structures have been burned to the ground in Fort McMurray, mostly homes. Take a look at this video captured by a home surveillance video camera. James O'Reilly and his wife watching this happen on an iPhone app. Their home and belongings burned to the ground. The good news is, as of now, there have been no fatalities directly linked to this inferno. Officials say no towns or cities are currently in this fire's path either, and there is no damage to the oil infrastructure, which is so important to Canada's economy. Officials reiterated ultimately this fire will burn for a very long time until there is significant rainfall. In New York, Brian Yenis, Fox News.
The Oklahoma Lady Force full contact football team was playing in their second championship title game today. Their opponents, the Kansas Cougars. We got a chance to speak to the coach before the game about how far his ladies have come since last year.
These girls came a long way from the first and second year playing, and none of them knowing how to play.
But they can now play and secured their second title. The final score was 13-6. The owner, Nicole Gates, says tryouts for anyone interested are in September. And in El Reno today, the world's largest fried onion burger. Who wouldn't want to be there? Fox 25's photographer Jacob Redway was on hand for all the messy goodness.
Where do you go and see an 850-pound onion fried hamburger being cooked right before your eyes, you know? Just right here in El Reno, Oklahoma, America. This year, there are probably around 20 to 25,000 people throughout the day. It's gorgeous weather, and this festival brings a lot of people. After 28 years, it has quite the following.
Onion Burger Day is very unique. It
it does a lot of things for El Reno. I'm so excited. I haven't been here a long time, but it's one of those events that gives everybody who lives here a great opportunity to get together and have like a family picnic, but it brings thousands of people from all over the state. My first burger day, my experience cooking the big burger, getting to help with that, pat out the meat, see it done, it's quite a thing to see. And if you've never seen a giant hamburger cook, it's a one of a lifetime thing. Come and see it.
Turning now to news around Oklahoma. In Tulsa tonight, a man has been arrested on a complaint of second-degree murder. Officials say Christopher Mitchell was taken into custody yesterday. Officials say his arrest comes in connection with an accident from earlier this week. Officials say the car Mitchell was driving struck a motorcycle with 2 people on it. Police saying Mitchell fled the scene. Authorities say another car was hit by Mitchell at a high rate of speed. The driver in that accident died. Police say alcohol may have played a factor. Oklahoma researchers began an ambitious campaign to learn more about America's bald eagle population. Biologists with the state's wildlife department and experts with the U.S. Geological Survey spent the weekend tagging baby eaglets. The chicks can't fly yet, but that's exactly what scientists need, with mom and dad keeping close, watching overhead. Officials tagged an 8-week-old male and female eaglet, all in the hopes to study the birds over the next 4 years.
Bald eagles take about 4.5 years before they actually get that white head and tail that most people identify with a bald eagle. These chicks, about 8 weeks, they're 8 pounds or so, and they are pretty well developed.
Officials say the only female eaglet was big enough to be equipped with a cellular transmitter that will collect information on where the birds are and how fast and how far they can fly. Coming up, President Obama delivering his first commencement speech of the season, what he says about the state of the country since he was in school. Plus, a nearly deadly carnival ride incident, what officials say happened that sent an 11-year-old to the hospital in critical condition.
All-star pitcher Kirk Schilling speaks out for the first time after he was fired by ESPN for controversial comments he made on social media. I'm Jeff Barn. I'll have that story coming up.
Severe storm chances return for your Mother's Day. I'll tell you who could see those storms and how it'll affect your Mother's Day. The full forecast coming up in a bit.
And up front at 9:30, 3 years after death and destruction, a bright light shining in Morgan, a new medical center. What some have to say about the new facility and coping 3 years later.